Why students are less today? Okay. So in yesterday's lecture, we discussed about this beautiful quote, and then I said like, okay, let us stop here, and then in tomorrow's lecture, we can continue. Fine. So in today's lecture, again, something very interesting, and for me at least, I don't know about others because students are less for the class. And is it related to any exam or something? I don't know, but yes, today we are going to discuss something about types of ethics first, like what are the different types of ethics, because we always feel like ethics should be followed by everybody, and there are ethics are very important part and integral part of your personality, and what is ethics, and people should be value based, and people should follow their ethics and other things. So we have discussed a lot about ethics, but what type of ethics that everybody should follow on as a professional, as a person, as an individual. So there are three types of ethics basically. One is transactional ethics, second is participatory ethics, and third is recognitional ethics. So what is meant by each of them, so we will discuss. Fine. Very simple. We all know what is mean by transaction, which is happening between two parties, two persons. So exchange of something is transaction. So when we are doing, when we are thinking about exchanging something, or in simple words, when what we call that is give and take kind of a relationship. So in that relationship, fine, both the parties, they are involved in, they should behave honestly. Why it is important? Because in every transaction, what is expected at least that both the parties, they should be, there should be a win-win kind of a approach. Let me see, something is there in the chat box. Am I audible? Voice not audible, ma'am. Karan, am I audible, Karan?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. Okay, so when we are thinking about transaction, when we are thinking about give and take, so it is very, very essential that both the parties should win something, or it should be the win-win situation for both the parties. That is most important, you know, requirement of that. So both the parties, they should think is it is a honest behavior you portray when you seek to your customers. It may be between customer or client and you. So when you are indulged in any materialistic transaction, what is the prerequisite? As I said, like, okay, both the parties, they should be, for both the parties, there should be a win-win kind of a situation. Then what is expected and what is ethical behavior in transaction? That is, it must be very simple and not fooling people or your business benefits, or your business benefit. And then we all know that most of the organizations, they are doing it. So they all are, indulged in or in unethical or behavior. Why? Because these people, they are fooling people. And why people, they are fooling others, or other, maybe they may be your customers, clients, employees, or anybody. Why these people, they behave like this? Because of their business benefits. This is first thing, and it is not acceptable, or it is not ethical. And the second, part of this transactional ethic is living on the grounds of equal importance to the customers and revealing the facts. Here, basically, when we are talking about business ethics or the types of business ethics, so this is really very, very, very important for any organization. Because in yesterday's lecture, we said like all the organization, they should think about long-term benefits, or establishing relationship with people, or establishing a long-term relationship with the customers, employees, and other things. So when you are not fooling, when you are very honest in that transaction, when you are taking care of other people, when you are indulged in any kind of materialistic transaction with pure heart, or with pure intention, pure honest intention, so we can call that, okay, or we can think like, okay, that organization, or you as a representative of that organization, so you behave ethically. And then that is what the transactional ethics. Moving next slide, or next point of our discussion, like here, what is expected that all the parties involved in the action pattern have interest that happens to coincide in time, but what to do, what do not affect each other. That is the most important thing. See, we are involved in that transaction, It may be between client and customer, client or customer and you, and or it may be your employees and you. So you are involved in that, uh, in that transaction for your own interest, for your organization's interest. Fine. And no, there should not be conflict of interest, what I mean to say. So that, like, okay, like my interest is like, of course, to earn profit, and then my customers interest may be like he is expecting his value for money. He is expecting like, ma'am, which I should get more benefit, or I should get the best benefit or the best deal from your organization. So obviously people, they are expecting like this, but there should not be conflict of interest. So both the interest that, okay, your customer or client should feel like, okay, I'm getting what I deserve, or I'm getting what I want, what is my expectations, as per my expectations. And you as an individual, you also think like, okay, or as an organization, you are getting your share of profit. So that in this kind of situation, that transaction will run smoothly, and everybody, like, they will accept the principle of equality. Now, what is the principle of equality? Like, both the parties, they're getting equal benefits of from that particular transaction. They're getting equal benefits from that transaction. That is most important thing. And for this smooth conduct or a smooth finish of any transaction, what is a prerequisite? What is the requirement? That is, first is honesty, and second is reciprocity. Like, you must be honest, you must be 100% honest in that transaction, so people will be happy. And what is reciprocity? Like, okay, they are expecting something, and then you need to reciprocate. You need to respond in a most appropriate way, and at most appropriate time. That is what people, they are expecting. So if you are doing that if you are honest, and if you are taking care of others, and you are thinking about win-win situation, and then you are supporting people, and then you reciprocate to them, so it is expected, right? It is expected. So your everything, all behavior in totality, we can call that, okay, yes, you are very ethical in that particular transaction, and that transaction will happen very smoothly, or that transaction will be completed very smoothly. Otherwise, what will happen? There will be a stress. There will be a stress. Otherwise, your everybody, as we all know, that all the parties, they are working for their own interest. मेरा फायदा होना चाहिए. That kind of transaction, or that kind of interaction is there. So when everything is in place, everything is in place, fall in place. So what is expected? It will be which will result in the long association with that particular party, customer, client, employee, any party. So in whichever they are involved in transaction, any kind of transaction. So that is what a transactional ethics. Simple hai samajhne mein. Moving next to that is, what is participatory ethics. Now, very interestingly, like we discussed, like all business houses or organization should be ethical. Now, what is that? And we all understood, like, it is not so, people or organizations, they are not so interested to be ethical. Why? Because they have their own agenda. They have their own goals. And we all know what kind of goals all the organizations or all the businesses they have. But that also we discussed, like, okay, according to Indian ethos, or it is, if you want to survive in the market for longer time, or if you want to be there in the society for longer time, you need to understand this very basic fact, like, okay, you can earn the profit, but at the same time, or you can achieve business goals, but you must be morally very strong and serve the society in more ethical way, and gain what? Corporate excellence. This is what is expected. Like, you should balance both the things. Like, okay, you can think about profit, you can think about achieving organization goals. Nobody's saying no to you, fine, but you need to think about, you need to think about the moral side or the moral aspects of that, all these things. At the same time, you must balance, like, okay, you must serve the society. You must serve the society because you are serving the society, right? You are creating, developing some products, you are creating and designing services, and then you are selling it to your customers or some other parties. Fine, you are dealing with them. Why we are doing that? It is one kind of, we are serving to the society. So you should do it in most ethical way or more ethical way, and then you can achieve excellence. So what is participatory ethics? Like, okay, you need to balance both the things. An example is Ford Foundation. Now, what is Ford Foundation? This particular foundation, they are working to reduce poverty and injustice. Not only this, they are working to strengthen democratic values, promote international cooperation, and advance human achievement. Ford is a business organization. They are creating, developing, designing automobiles or cars or something, and they are selling. So that is the primary objective of this particular company or organization. But parallelly, they are thinking about society. Parallelly, they are thinking about their contribution towards the society, serving the society in most ethical way. उनका behavior most ethical है. क्यों? Because they want to gain the corporate excellence. They're not here. Their objective is so broad. It is not only, or their objective is not only limited to gain profit, but yes, they are thinking about corporate excellence. So this is what a participatory ethics. So you need to balance the both. And society is a part of your organization, or your organization is a part of society. That kind of participatory ethics. You need to understand this. So this is another second type of ethics. Moving ahead, recognition ethics. What is recognition ethics? That is, as human being, people are endowed with the ability to understand the problems of others. We have that power, because that power is given to every individual or every human being, that they can understand others' problem. It may be related to individuals, it might be related to institutions and societies. So what is expected? Like, okay, you need to recognize the problem, understand the problem. What is ethical way? Like, okay, you can understand, and not only understanding the problem, but you need to help the people. Like, for example, the strong is helping the weak, the learned is helping the lesser learned, the experience is helping the new entrant, or those who are coming, or they are those who are freshers in the organization. So this is what a recognition ethics. You need to recognize. What you need to recognize? The problems of others, other people, or other part of the society, or other part of your organization, or other part of your family, anybody. And then you need to recognize, okay, samajh mein aaya, chhod diya, this is not expected, or this is not recognition ethics. Then what is recognition ethics? Like, okay, you need to understand, and not only that, you need to help people. You need to help individuals, institutions, societies. And if there is any conflicting situation, kahin pe conflict ho raha hai, difference of opinion ho raha hai, so you need to, you need to solve those situations, or you need to solve those problems, or you need to handle those problems by the correct recognition of the situation. आपको वो situation को सही से समझना है, and then you need to help them. That is what recognition ethics. So what we have discussed, like, okay, there are three types of ethics. One is transactional ethics, like whenever you are involved in any kind of transaction, that is, I'm talking about professional relationship, professional transaction, commercial transaction. Participatory ethics, like, okay, you need to consider your organization as a part of the society, and you need to help, or you need to balance for both the interest. And recognitional ethics, like, okay, you need to understand people's problem or the conflicting situation, because this particular type of ethics believes, like, okay, people, they have that capacity and power to understand people. or understands problem of the people. So these are the different types of ethics. Moving ahead, I just want to discuss one quote. I quote, this is by Henry Ford, and that's why I said, like, okay, let us understand like how these people, they are working. So according to Henry Ford, I quote, a business that makes nothing but money is a poor kind of business, I unquote. उनके हिसाब से वो business or that type of business who makes only money is a poor kind of business. So what is expected from by them? Like, okay, they need to think about something more, something different, something extra. Their thinking process, their thought process is not only limited or should not be limiting to only this, or only to making profit or to make profit or other things. So they need to go beyond that. They need to think about something for the betterment of the society. They should contribute for the to them. They need to take care of them, because fortunately what they feel like, okay, we have everything, we have power, we have money, we have capacity to help others. Isn't it a beautiful quote? And this is very different kind of thought process, like he proposed to all of us. So moving ahead, that is, which are the different types of factors influencing business ethics? There are many factors. हम लोग बोलते कि yes, it is expected that everybody should behave, ethically. It is expected, like all the organizations or all the business houses, they need to contribute something good, something better for the organization. But then why people are not behaving ethically? So there are different factors which affects on business ethics. So first set of factor, that is corporate culture. The second is strategy and performance. Third one is environment. Fourth one is leadership, and the fifth one is individual characteristics. So let us discuss one by one. These are the different factors, important factors which influence on business ethics. So corporate culture, external stakeholders perception. What is corporate culture? We all know. So I don't want to explain it again here. So it is expected that, okay, you know this. So external stakeholders perception about what? About your organization, about your business. So you need to create that perception, how people perceive you, the things which which are showed to them by your organization. If you are socially concerned, if you are contributing something to the society, and you are very sensitive about the social problems, then people, or the stakeholders, external stakeholders, they will perceive you like, okay, your business or your organization is very ethical. You are doing your business or your organization is very ethical. Then of course that is an external stakeholders perception. But you all know that many times people, they believe like, okay, there are, because of the big tags, big names are there, and brands are there, and people, we feel from the outside of that organization, we feel so, wow, great, you're working with so and so company, oh, you are working with that company or that organization, because we perceive like it's a very big brand. But when we meet people inside, inside people, or the people, those who are working or associated in the organization, those who are working for that organization, और हम लोग जब उनको पूछते, what is a culture, what is the internal culture, they said, oh no, sirf dikhawa hai, we know that what is happening inside. So according to this subject, they are asking you people, or all the people, those who are those who are attached, or they are those who are working with the organization, that who built that culture, who is responsible to build that internal culture? Of course, all the people, all the individuals, irrespective of their positions or experience and everything. So everybody is responsible. So business ethics, like if your internal culture is positive, or your internal culture has been built up by the people or by the individual in a positive way, then your organization may be ethical. If not, then this is again very important factor which are influence on business ethics. Care of all the stakeholders, like I said, we discussed just now, we discussed that participatory or transactional based ethics. So we are taking care of all the stakeholders. We are giving due respect to their involvement. We are thinking very positive for them. Building ethical standards in business. So, your standards should be very high. So you need to build very ethical standards in the business. So your whole process or the whole system, you're from scanning of your environment till the process and production and then delivery and dispatch and then sales and everything. You name the area or you name the activity, and you have set certain norms, and you have created, or your organization has created, a very beautiful system which is based on some ethics, which is very, very value based. So that is most important. Like if you are you're productive, you are producing something, and then you are selling something, and people in the organization or outside society, if they are giving you very positive response, and when, even though if you are not ethically good, because if we scan or if you analyze your balance sheet of your organization, you are in profit, but you earn that profit, or I can put it like this, like, okay, you need to answer this question, or rather ask this question to you or to people, those who are associated with that organization, like, okay, are you in a positive way? This is very important, that whether you earn that profit in an ethical way, whether you follow the value system of your organization. So corporate culture, that is external perception as well as the internal culture, work culture or a corporate culture, is really very important, or this is one factor which influence on business ethics. Moving ahead, that strategy and performance, that is corporate vision, corporate code of ethics, corporate code of conduct, corporate strategy, business strategy, financial strategy. So strategies and performance of your business. Now, very interestingly, this part is taken care by your top management of your organization. So they are taking care, they are creating and developing different business strategies. And all these strategies and policies are responsible for business performance. They are responsible for their business performance. So, like, as we all know that, okay, culture percolates from top to bottom. So that's why this particular aspect or this particular factor, see, you are working in that organization. Since you are associated with that organization, you have, and you are very ethical in your behavior. Personal ethics are very high. But then when you are part of that organization, you need to listen to the people, or you need to listen to your management. And that's why it is written there, that strategy and performance of that organization. Strategic, strategic management, what we call. And it is managed like by the higher authorities, or by the management. If they are positive, if they are concerned, if they are working in a right direction, so definitely that whole organization or entire organization will move in a very positive direction. But if these people, they are creating business strategies and policies in a negative way, or they are giving only importance to their own profit, so that what will happen to that organization, or what you can just imagine, like what is the culture of that organization. Then environment, ethical attitude of top management, just now we discussed, and these all factors are interconnected or interlinked. So ethical attitude of top management, building on ethical culture, and then socially responsible behavior. Again, that is very, very important. Socially responsible behavior. Leadership. Leader as teacher, leader as steward. So you might be in whichever position, but this factor is very important, that, okay, who is a leader of your organization? Because the leader will give you or give directions to that organization. So if leader is positive, if leader is value based, if leader believes in ethics and value system, or so that he can give, or he has, because he is having what, he's having that influencing power. He can influence people. He is very powerful. So people or the followers follow leaders for the direction, or they look at to him or her for the directions. And if that person's own personal value system is in dilemma, or it is not clear for him or her, if he himself is a confused person or a confused leader, or maybe he is very strong believer of like the aims or goals or objectives, he's setting all these things for his own benefit, or like organization first wala approach. If he's thinking on these lines, then you can think like, okay, that organizations or that organization will not be ethical. Very important, that is individual characteristics. You must be fair, no discrimination, no politics, mutual help, concern to the society and environment, not fall prey to short gains, and build trust, set himself as a model and integrity. This is what everything is expected from you, me, and everybody. This should be your individual characteristics. And then if your characteristics or our characteristics are just opposite to these things, we discriminate people, we are indulge in politics, or we don't believe on mutual help or something, so it is there like, okay, we don't bother like who is society and why should I think about society and environment. And then, okay, fine, abhi ka kaam ban raha hai na, I'm getting it, and this is what I'm looking for. So if this kind of behavioral pattern or if individual characteristics are like that, then these factors will definitely affect on ethics or business ethics, your business ethics. Because you will cheat, because you will engage in something which is not good for you, not good for the organization, and definitely not good for the society. So these are the factors which affects on business ethics. Fine. Moving ahead. Okay, now we can discuss something about categories of ethics. So personal ethics, professional ethics, and managerial ethics. Now, what is personal ethics? Just now we discussed this kind of, or this category of philosophy that determines that individual believes about morality and what is right and wrong. Because I keep on discussing these things with you, like, okay, people, what is right for me, it might not be right for you. So these are the personal kind of ethics, personal differences, and because of that conflict may happen. So this is personal ethics are definitely different than business ethics or legal ethics. So like just now, whatever we have discussed under individual characteristics, these are your personal ethics. These are your very normal, very very prominent, I can say, set of ethics or set of values as a person. As a Nandini, what I believe on, I believe on these things. This is my value system. So as it is written there, that okay, these are the basic principles and values that govern interaction amongst the individual. So we all know that, okay, we are working in teams and we are interacting with people. And then when we are interacting with people or dealing with people, we understand, oh, they are definitely different. Our interaction is different. So why conflicts happen, or why difference of opinion is there in the organizational or in professional setup? Because there is a value clash. Most of the time there are value clash or ethical clash, ethics clash, or the moral values of different individuals or different professionals. There is a close clash in that I believe on honesty, I want to work on honesty, I want to respect people, I don't believe on politics, I want to support people. But if my colleagues or the people, those my team members, if they are just opposite to this, so there will be a clash. or there will be a conflict like situation in that organization. So moving ahead, one more slide for personal ethics, that ये मेरा पर्सनल एथिक्स आपके पर्सनल एथिक्स से अलग क्यों है? What influences the personal ethics? The schooling, your education, media, peers, religion, family, and friend. These are very dominant factors which influence or which creates your value system. We all know and we all experience this, that every person, every individual in those who belong to that particular your organization or that business, they are different, and we always feel like, why these people they behave like this, why there is a need to behave like this, and what kind of people they are. So there are like that. Why? Because it is okay, ethics are not like can be developed overnight. It's very small and a long procedure which is followed by that individual consciously or subconsciously or unconsciously, that we follow, we create, and then we are learning from our experiences, we are learning from the society, we are learning from the peers, we are learning from the religion or the religious thoughts or religious gurus, and of course family and our friends. We are with them, and then because we are interacting with them and we are in relationship with them, we are establishing a relationship with them, and because of that we are getting one kind of or some kind of experiences, we are learning from them, and because of that we we form or we create a value system, that is personal ethics or personal beliefs. So this is what this is all about, personal ethics. Let us move something now further. And we all know about three monkeys, like don't listen, don't see the bad things, don't talk, and then don't speak, and then don't listen. But what is expected? I can say like all these three monkeys are insensitive. Insensitive towards what is happening in the society or in their environment. So what is the current scenario in ethics? Open your eyes to justice. Don't close your eyes. Most of the time, we all behave like this. Like uske saath problem hai na, that is his problem or that is her problem, or this is organization problem, or this is management's problem. So why should I speak? Or why should I see? मैंने तो देखा ही नहीं, that kind of attitude. So what is the current scenario? But what is our learning from these classes? Like, okay, we need to speak for justice. We need to open our eyes for justice. We can see that what is happening in our, in our environment, in our society nowadays. Speak out for the truth. Aap baat karo, bolo, awaaz uthao, out of, for the truth. And listen up to the whistleblowers. Whistleblowers, what is mean by whistleblower? The people of the organization, those who are talking about, or those who are thinking, of course, in a good in a good way, or with good intentions, but they are interacting with people, or they are interacting, or they are talking about the things or the bad things which are happening in our organization. So they are, whistleblowers, like, okay, they are giving commands to the people, they're talking about, they're pinpointing about the mistakes. So they are whistleblowers. So listen to them, what these people they are saying, which direction these people they are giving to us. So this is what a current scenario in ethics. Now, what is professional code of ethics? Now we discuss about personal code of ethics, and then professional code of ethics, that is the next one. But before that, we can think about that why personal code of ethics, ki personal code of ethics ko hum log kyun discuss karna chahiye. Because personal code of ethics and your behavior, personal code of ethics and that person's response to the things which are happening, or the to other people, to the teams and other thing, it depends. he will decide, or he matlab what will decide the part of personality that is we can call it as an ethical personality or his or her value system. So here his behavior or her behavior is it has a close relationship with this. That why I'm positive, why I'm so concerned, or why I'm so conscious, and why I'm taking very good care of my colleagues, those who are working in my team, or those who are working in my organization, or those who stay in my building, because my value system is like that. So I behave in a positive way. So there is a connection between people's value system or ethics and their behavior, and that's why personal code of ethics are so important. To promote high standard of practice, of course, the behavior, practice, and then very important thing, that is to provide a benchmark for individuals to use as self-evaluation. Self-evaluation का बात करी, लोगों का काम है कहना, लोग कुछ तो कहेंगे, whatever that song is. So what it means, like, okay, people, they'll always comment on you or always comment on your behavior, and they will judge your behavior. That, and then in that case, you are always confused whether I'm right or wrong. So some parameters, some standard parameters should be there, some benchmark should be there against which you can, judge your own behavior. So your personal ethics can work as a benchmark or a standard against which you can, do a self-evaluation of your ethics or your behavior. So establish a framework for professional behavior and responsibilities. Yes, of course, yes, as a vehicle of occupational identity and maturity. See, every occupation or every profession has some identity. Like when the moment I said, like, yes, I'm working as a teacher, so people, they feel, oh, you are a teacher. That kind of response or reactions people they give. If I say, like, oh, I'm working in marketing, I'm working in this particular department or in this organization, or I'm a lawyer, or if I'm a doctor, so people, they expect some kind of ethics, or people, they have, it's your identity. It's your identity. And people start expecting something. That is what a professional ethic means. You are in that profession, right? And why you are there in that profession, what is mean by profession? That it is a purpose to serve, or it is a purpose to supply objectives, counsel, and service to others for for a direct and indefinite or infinite compensation. We are working in that profession, of course, for compensation, and we are getting that compensation, salary, wages, monetary benefits, and everything. But what is expected? Like, you are there, you are fulfilling the main purpose. See, profession, it's, of course, it is educational training based on it required some educational training. So you are helping people, you are helping to the humankinds or human beings. And then you got that education, you are educational trainer, or you are trained by that particular people or professionals, those who are in that profession or experience in that profession. जैसे हम बोलते कि you are MBA students, so you are future managers or administrators. So you are education, you are taking education, or you are in this particular profession. You accepted that profession, and then you will work in that profession. Like, okay, I'll be there in the organization, or I'll join any organization, or I'll start something by my own. Why? To serve the society ultimately, or to sell something, to create something, to design something. Or I'll take care of finance, or I'll take care of production or operation or something like that. But when you choose, when you will become a part of that particular profession, so you need to follow certain professional ethics. which encompass the personal and corporate standards of behavior accepted or expected for professionals. It is expected, some personal and some corporate standards. As I said, like if when you, the moment you said, oh, I'm a doctor, so people, they start expecting, oh, you are a doctor. So some professional ethics, like, okay, whatever is happening outside or whatever we experience in the society, so definitely most of them, I cannot say all of them, but yes, most of them, most of us, there is a question mark on our behavior or on our professional ethics, whether we follow our professional ethics. If you Google it, then for each and every profession there are n number of ethics, which is expected behavior, which is a standard behavior from those professionals. So how far we follow them and how far everybody is following them, because we always believe, हम लोग पहले मानते थे कि भाई डॉक्टर भगवान होता है, टीचर भगवान होता है, मातृ देवो भव, पितृ देवो भव, आचार्य देवो भव. So when people, they are looking at us or they are looking at you or everybody for that matter, when you are in that profession or you are part of that profession, so definitely your behavior must be good or must be value based or must be ethical. So every profession has or follow that set of professions, right? Moving ahead, what is managerial ethics? Again, here we are talking about personal ethics, professional ethics, and of course the managerial ethics. So managerial ethics is just about decision what is right and proper and just in connection with other people. Because as a manager, you need to balance both the things. Like, okay, you need to think about your organization. At the same time, you need to think about people in the organization. So it's not only the question of bribery, theft, or collusion. It's mainly about relationship between customers, suppliers, and stakeholders on one side, and the managers and subordinates on the other side. Because as a manager, you represent that organization. Or as an administrator, you represent that organization to the external world or external environment, which comprises of suppliers, stakeholders, customers, and lot of or government. So you need to balance it. See, there is one balancing factor. You need to balance it. Like you should pay taxes and other things because the government is expecting that from you, and you are calculating, you are doing it. So you are major dua, or you are major connection between the external environment and the internal environment. And what is the internal environment? That is all your employees and other things, or overall work culture. So that is what managerial ethics. So you must follow, you must be right, or you must be ethical, or you must be value based when you are dealing with people, that is, or you are dealing with external world of your organization, as well as when you are dealing with the internal parties. So this is what managerial ethics is all about. Now the next point, again, which is there in your syllabus, that is code of conduct. Now what is code of conduct? First, before that, we will discuss something about conduct. What is conduct? The mode or the standard of personal behavior, especially as based on the moral principle. What is expected behavior? What is a standard behavior? The way that person behaves in a particular place or situation, that is conduct. Your behavior as per the standard, as per the rules and regulations, as per the expected standards. हम जिसको बोल सकते हैं. As a student, like, okay, you must be punctual. As a student, you must be attentive. This is what a behavioral pattern, or this is what I'm expecting and everybody is expecting. A conduct. आप कैसे behave करोगे? So there are certain norms, there are certain rules, there are certain expectations, there are certain standards of personal behavior, like how to behave in the society. So that is what conduct is. Like, okay, if a soldier, if you're a doctor, if you are an individual, if you're a mother, if you're a father, if you are a spouse, if you're a husband, or if you're a wife, if you're a friend. So friendship mein dagabaji nahi chalta. So that is what people they expect. Because that kind of conduct, that kind of personal behavior is expected by you. Then the next is, what is code of conduct? So when this is what we are talking about, that is a type of conduct, right? So when we are thinking about business or when we are thinking about organizations, तो organization में कैसे conduct करना है? Conduct is equal to behavior. Conduct means behavior. So your personal conduct and your in a professional setup, like how to behave in a professional setup. So what is another way? That is what we call it, that is code of ethics. Code of conduct or business conduct or code of ethics is a management tool for setting out an organization's values, responsibilities, and ethical obligations. Organizational values, organizational responsibilities, and organizational obligations. Because as we all know that ethics, values, and other things are set by the owner of that organization. And it is passed on. It is passed on from one generation to the another generation. So they are giving directions. They are thinking like, okay, my business or my organization should follow these kind of values. And for that, we are responsible for something. So all values, responsibilities, and obligations that is mandatory for you. You have to be like that, or we must be like that. So as a owner, as a management, as a top, or if I'm starting or setting some business or any organization, so we can start with this kind of value system. कि हमें ऐसे behave करना है, अपने organization को ऐसे लेके जाना है. Now that is your thought process, that is your individual thought process. But who will move or who will follow it, or who have to follow it? That is the people in the organization. Because these people, they will follow it, or they will support the organization or the management or the top. They have to. Their support is equally important, rather more important. So code of conduct, or these are, we can call it in a simple word, we can call it as a rule book or the value book, or the thought. It is a reflection of a thought process of your owner or your management, or the person who has started that particular business. I just want to give you one example. That is, you might be aware about Lijjat Papad. So this particular company or this particular organization was started by some illiterate, 7 or 8. I'm not sure, but it is like 7 or 8 illiterate women who started this business, or who established that company long away in Mumbai. And these people, they are creating, and this is very small kind of a business, or a small type of startup, we can say. But they started this startup with the thought process like, okay, we want to, or we need to support mahila, or mahila udyog, what we call women, those who want to do something, those who want to earn some money to support their family. And they are illiterate, so they don't go anywhere, and they can't go, or they can't move, and they don't want to move from their house. So this is with this intention, they said like, okay, let us start. And they are distributing their work, or they are distributing their job to the people. Like, okay, women, this is the same pattern like people they follow. And afterwards, when they are established and they are doing wonders, and they are really till now, till date, they are they are sustained in the market. So when they were doing very nice, or they are they're doing business and when they're getting good response from the society. So what they have done, like, okay, they have distributed their profit amongst the people, because they feel like the every single lady who is associated with their organization, fine, so she will be treated as a stakeholder of that organization, and she has full right to or equal right to gain profit or share of her share in the profit. So this is a thought process of that those 7 or 8 women who have started that particular organization long back. But that value system or that ethics, still till today, they are providing or they are giving directions to the people. This is what a code of conduct. Because your value system or code of conduct, as I said, it is a rule book or it is a value, a value book. We can call it as a value book. Or as I said, like it is a reflection of your forefathers or the person who has started that organization. With his vision and mission, further generations, they can work. So it is written very, very nicely. It is written that conduct provides employees with guidance for handling difficult ethical situations related to the business. So because every organization, they'll feel or they'll, they will experience ethical dilemma, and they are confused like what is right and what is wrong. But this code of conduct or this book will give them directions like what is right and what is wrong. Because every business, like we all know that they develop their own codes based on their core values, and no two codes are the same. So these are the core values. If time permits, I'll send something to your ma'am, and please do listen to them, like how Tata Memorial Hospital started and who compromised it, or you can just Google it, and then you will come to know the story behind that hospital. So these are the core values of that organization or that business. And especially Tatas, they have different stories about their ethical or code of conduct or their rule book or their basic value system of which is all the organizations they had to follow. So to be very truly effective, the code of conduct must also be embedded in the business. It should not be a book like, okay, which is lying somewhere. So you need to follow. It should be an integral part of that organization or your organization. So employee knows how it applies to them. So this is, again, that's why I said like, okay, this is a guidance or this is a Bible for any organization. But there are many people who can violate the rules written in the code of conduct. So this particular act of that person create a case where the employee fails to comply with the work rules, policies, and procedure. It is expected that you should arrive, for work on time, treating co-workers with respect, being honest, maintaining a good attendance record, using company time, supplies and properties in the responsible manner, and other similar behavior related to the area. So code of conduct, as I said, like it is a rule book or it is an ethical book, what we said, like which gives a direction to the people that how to act, how to behave in the organization. And all those rules and regulations are based on the value system of that organization, which is followed, which is written, which is created by some people, those who are associated with the organization, but keeping or aligning all these rules and regulations with the value system of the forefathers or the person who has started that particular business. Violation of work rules, policies, procedures can form the basis of corrective and disciplinary action. Isn't it? We all know about this. Like, okay, in a college also we have code of conduct or a rule book, or in your prospectus, there are so many rules and regulations. And then if you behave against that, it is expected. It is expected. Like if I'm very disciplined kind of a person, or if my value system and my ethics, or my personal ethics, like, okay, I love discipline and you must be punctual. So this is what I believe on. If I have that kind of value system, so my code of conduct, I'll create my code of conduct that all the employees, they should be disciplined, because I don't want to, or I can't compromise on discipline. And if anybody is doing that, then definitely some corrective measures can be taken. So with this, I want to conclude today's session, because two major aspects we have covered, that is fact, theories of, or okay, let me check. It is what we discussed. We discussed something about the factors influencing, ethics, and types of ethics, and then we discuss about categories of ethics, that is personal ethics and professional ethics and managerial ethics. Then the last point what we discussed, that is conduct and code of conduct, right? So any questions? Otherwise I can conclude, and in tomorrow's lecture we can discuss something about approaches to business ethics, that is consequentiality and consequentiality and non-consequentiality, that we will discuss later on, that is in tomorrow's lecture. So should I conclude, or you have any questions? Do you have any questions, any queries? It is exact 8:05. I think your next lecture or next professor, he must be waiting.
No,
Can I conclude?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, dear. Bye-bye. See you.
Bye. Thank you.